record. Thing is acting strange, so let me just double check. It usually tells me it's being recorded. It's weird.
I heard it say that.
Oh, you did? Okay, I just got here. Okay, I think I'm back. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm Lisa Twilley, the director of the Women's Business Center at Maryland Capital Enterprises. If you guys aren't familiar with who we are a nonprofit based in Salisbury. We also have an office in Baltimore City. We service all the entire Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. And we assist entrepreneurs that are getting started in business. If you're already in business and trying to expand, then we can help with business consulting, marketing consulting, one-on-one mentoring, training workshops such as this. Most of our trainings are free, so I definitely would take advantage of them. If you're not on our newsletter list and would like to be, let me know in the chat and I'll be glad to add you. That's how you can keep up with what events we have going on and what workshops we have happening. But tonight we are here with Dr. Amy Stewart, owner of Night Watch Childcare Center here in Salisbury. And she is going to talk to us about grants, government contracting and grants. So I'm going to let her get started.
Okay, hi everybody. So tonight's just the government contracts. Last week or 2 weeks ago, or whenever we met last time, we talked more about grants. No, you're fine. Two things. One, make sure that when Lisa drops that link to join the email list for them, you do that. Many of you guys found this on the Tuesday tidbits through MSDE. So they are not with the Department of Education. They're all business. So there's some things that I'll be able to answer questions as being an educator and a business owner. But if you're looking for like startup money, loans, anything like that, Lisa's going to be the person to go to. I'll just be able to come from the childcare aspect. So make sure that when she drops that, you guys sign up. They have trainings about becoming a minority-owned business, which we're going to talk about tonight, why that's important. Like I said, funding. They have people from insurance, lawyers, like any types of things that you're going to need those resources as you scale your business or open another center or franchise or all the big things that you want to do. That's going to be who you want to go with. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. Lisa, were you also able to send out the workbook to everybody? I can't hear you. You're on. It's okay. If she didn't, I know that they're recording this and I know that they will send this out. So I'll just make sure that you guys have the workbook. The workbook's really more for you to digest some of this later and write some notes. So I don't want you to feel like you're missing anything because you don't have the workbook. I'm the workbook.
I apologize because I thought that was for us to send out afterwards. So
whichever, it's fine. After it's fine because really you guys will have time to print it out and really just brainstorm. I'm going to give a lot of information and your head's going to be spinning. So I just want you to have some time with that workbook and you can write down your ideas. Okay. So Lisa, are you cool if I share my screen and then I can just kind of flip through and then if you can.
Yep. So let me stop. I'll stop sharing now. You should do it.
Okay. And then if anybody has any questions, maybe Lisa, if you see somebody has a pressing question.
Okay.
All right. Can everybody see my screen now? Okay. All right. Okay. So again, those of you that were here last week, I'm excited to see. So I've seen some faces. And Miss Vanessa, this is my second meeting with her today. Her and I were at the thing for the Judy Center. I think she was virtual. So very nice to see her too. And Miss Wanda, I've had a chat with Miss Wanda too. So I'm excited to see some new people from last week. I mean, some of the same people from last week. So just like last week when I talked about with grants, I really just need to start thinking like bigger beyond your day-to-day. That's where this big money is going to come from. And where we get to a point where if we need more income, that we don't have to raise prices. So that's really how I like to lead my business. I'm always trying to think outside the box. So where grants, we were talking about like vulnerable populations, and how we can solve a problem that they have. It's a lot on us. It's a lot of us seeing the problem and then coming up with a solution and then budgeting for that and then writing grants. When we talk about government contracts, it's a little different. The government is going to say, here's our problem. Here's the vulnerable population. I want you to do the work. And they're going to be pretty detailed about how they want it done and how much money they're willing to spend. And essentially you go and you bid, and whoever has the better offer, that's who they're going to go with. And the government, from the federal government all the way down to your local city government, they're going to put out services that they need. So we're going to take a look at some of those. But some of the things beyond your childcare services are childcare centers for local government. So I live in Salisbury. I was just having a chat with our city council president a few months ago, and he was saying that the city was thinking about opening a childcare center for city employees. That childcare for city employees was a challenge, and they were thinking about doing something like that. The city will most likely contract out with somebody else to maintain the daycare. So that is something that government agencies do. Managing child development centers. So I grew up near Fort Meade, and I know that they had one of these CDCs on the property. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't know if they're military personnel. I don't know, but I do know that that is something that maybe you ask questions about, whether it's just at a military base or if it's maybe off-site of a military base. The CDCs overseas, like I don't like finding out, like, do they contract that out? Would they be wanting to maybe have like not a licensing specialist, but almost like a compliance person to just kind of make sure everything's all good to go for their different childcare centers. Educational assessments. These are things, and I'm going to show you guys where the state of Maryland has they're called procurements. So they're RFPs, it's a request for proposal, like they're like the ad for the service that they need. And then workforce development for youth. I talked a lot about that last week, but that is also something that the government will contract out. They have a need, they have the vulnerable population, they have the money, they want you to do the work. They're not going to do it. And if anybody has experience with things like Childcare Central with childcare scholarships, we all know that that is a contracted out position, which is why it's hard to get people on the phone and things like that. We won't get too into that, but that's kind of what I'm talking about, where the state has all of these things that they mandate and regulate, but really they're contracting out to these private companies, and that's where this comes in. So workforce development, this was actually something that I did put in for a bid for with the city of Salisbury. We didn't get it, but that's okay. We still applied for it. And it was for a youth workforce program. So at the Night Watch, we are at Maryland. We are an apprenticeship program with the state of Maryland. And so we can offer that. And we're also one of those unique businesses that we can start hiring kids at 16. Some businesses can't, but we are childcare, we can start doing that. And even if you're interested, if they have maybe a program for like the 13, 14-year-olds, and having them be volunteers and being able to have maybe some kind of stipend, like a summertime program. But looking for these opportunities is vital because they are out there. And like I said, I've applied for them. So it was for a workforce development for youth in our area. And I had a whole plan, and they had an application and a whole deal, and we turned it in. Like I said, we didn't get it, but that's okay. But I highlight that there are, contracts out there that the government is putting out there and saying, hey, we need people to work with our youth and help get them ready for the workforce. And you as an educator, one at your daycare could offer something like that. But even beyond that, like we have these kids just for that little piece, but like they're growing. And what if you could evolve with and grow and expand and be able to still serve that kid all the way until they graduate high school in some fashion. So us at Night Watch, we can keep kids till they're 12. We're lining it up that once they turn 13, we can have them into a volunteer program. When they turn 16, have them on as an aide and be able to, service them all the way through school. So last week, we talked a lot about the importance of networking and making those connections. So like Ms. Vanessa and I today were both at the Judy Center meeting, super important. They had people from the district, they had people from all the elementary schools, there were people from different service providers. I learned a whole bunch of stuff about resources that are in my area and people who need my information. So I came home today and I'm like making a list. I'm printing out flyers, getting some business cards, putting in the envelopes, and we're going to go and pass them out to these different places. So building that team is really important. Especially when you're talking about government contracts, because government contracts, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars that you're going to do something with them for the year, or it might be a 2-year contract. And if they were going to give you $50,000 to run one of these youth programs or to do educational assessments, would you have the team to accommodate an entire school district or entire county? Being able to call on people because you already have this network. You already know, oh, this person does mental health services. I've got another person in the health field. I got another person here and there. Being able to have access to them. It's about the long game. Last week I talked about, like, you don't want to just cold call these people when you're talking about having a work relationship with them. I want to make sure I can work with these people. I want to make sure I enjoy having conversations with them. I know that, they show up and they do what they say they're going to do. I don't have any issues. Because then I know, yeah, let's get into a longer term partnership with one of these contracts. And in the contracts, when they all the information that they provide for you, they're going to be real specific. They're like, you need to have several partnerships with community agencies. Some of them may say you have to have a connection with the Judy Center. I see that a lot. You need to have partnerships with the local school system. You need to have, depending on what the contract is, maybe you need to have connections with the local hospital or the health department. So even if you're like, government contracts, maybe let's put that on my 2 to 5 year plan, your 7 to 10 day plan needs to be, okay, where are these people? How can I go to these meetings? What email lists do I need to be on? Where do I need to pop in on a Zoom and things like that? And even if all you can do, and that's what I said last week, even if all you can do is sign up for the email, you at least know when the classes are. If you have to get the recording later, or you know what I mean, like, you still have access to all of this information. That's the minimum. But taking that next step and going in person and meeting these people and building relationships and doing little collaborative projects, even if it's for a month. Let's say, like right now, I'll just, for instance, at the Judy Center, all these different places, all these different organizations that are there, they had opportunities for us to kind of sign up for different initiatives they have throughout the year. I know I was going to do it because I want to build a relationship with our local Judy Center, because I know that down the road that could become a grant opportunity. It could be a government contract opportunity. And that'd be one of the stipulations, is that, do I have a partnership with the Judy Center? Absolutely, because I've been working with them for, a year and a half. So when we're talking about the budgets and all of that sort of thing, and the money, it's wonderful to be able to go and say, I'm going to bid for this $75,000 contract, but at least with Maryland and in my experience, it's all reimbursed, which means you would have to put that money out first, then invoice it, and then wait 60, 90 days to get your money back. So this is not for somebody who's looking for startup money. This is not for somebody who, is just kind of paycheck to paycheck. That's not for you yet. That doesn't mean we still can't be working on plans and knowing where all of the forms are and just kind of preparing. There are a lot of free steps you can be doing before the money comes in, but also in the back of your head, I need to start tucking some money away because I want to have access to these larger funding opportunities, but I know that I'm going to need at least $50,000 or $20,000 or whatever to at least get started until they start reimbursing you. Sometimes they're going to ask for like the same types of financial documents because they want to see like evidence that you have a business and that there's money coming through it. So some of the things that I talked about last week when it comes to the paperwork that you need to gather, these contracts may also ask some of that too, just to kind of verify that, they're doing their due diligence. They're not just going to hand, I don't know, $100,000 over to somebody and they haven't seen an operating budget or anything like that. And so that goes down to that financial stability for contract execution. I've talked to people non-daycare related that have gotten government contracts with folks, and sounds great, but they couldn't keep up the reimbursement, and then they lose the contract, or they weren't able to gather the team in time. If somebody were to give you 6 figures and say, hey, design an early childhood, program, and we need to have it up and running in, 60, 90 days, could you pull a team together in 60 to 90 days? Like, those are just the things to consider as you're planning for everything. Okay, I talked about there was some free things that you can start doing before the money comes, before you have all of these amazing partnerships and things like that, is getting these different numbers. It's just a Google search. So getting your DUNS number, SAMS.gov, that's some place that you want to make sure that you have registered. That may, in my experience, that was what we needed to get paid through the state. And then like these different codes, they may ask you that on the applications. So just making sure that you have all those. And again, don't worry about writing all this stuff down. You're going to get copies of all of it. Okay. The next part is understanding the bidding process. And again, we applied for one and we didn't get it, but I don't want the unknown to keep you from asking questions and applying. So I just want to show you. So I'll go the way up. Again, don't worry about getting the website down, but it's the eMaryland Marketplace Advantage. And if you have a business, if you have your EIN number, you can make one of these accounts for free. Again, it's going to be on the PowerPoint, but and some of you may already have one. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And this is where any government agency in Maryland, this is where they'll put what they need. And literally could be for anything. So I'm going to, I have one saved, but I kind of wanted to show you like, this is like all of the things, all of these agencies, noticing down here, it's a lot of government and community agencies, highway administration, Anne Arundel County Public Schools, the courthouses, things like that. Okay, so that's the government. They need something done. Then this main category, snow removal, dump trucks. There's one here for educational training. We're actually going to talk about that one. So it's more than just childcare, right? And this is where you kind of start thinking bigger beyond just childcare services and typing in keywords. So what I did in preparation for this, I typed in, did I type in father? Yeah, okay. When you look on here, there's a fatherhood 2025, or a full year for next year, and a fatherhood enrichment services. Now, notice these are, one's in Charles County, one's in Howard County. I don't know all of the details. I looked at this one, so I'll click on this fatherhood one. One of the things our local Judy Center has been doing is really targeting dads, and they had a camp out. They were talking about it today, and they're doing like this watchdog thing at one of the elementary schools where they're getting dads to come in. They got shirts and just kind of be present in the schools. My daycare center, my husband and I run it together. So we've got Mr. Ben there who adds a whole special layer to our daycare. And so we are very passionate about, one, we want to help our parents, but we have a lot of single moms that have dads that are just unsure about being parents. So this is definitely a passion of ours. And it's great to see other counties that are focusing on dads, because I don't necessarily think that the dads don't want to be involved. I think that they are uncomfortable and not confident in their parenting skills, and they know mom's got it. So they know they can take a back seat. But anyway, I just wanted to show that this was this is what it looks like. So again, I don't want the new stuff to overwhelm you. They have an email on here where you can email people and ask them questions. They typically will have like a pre-conference. So this one hasn't even happened yet, pre-bid conference date. So I could probably go to this and ask my questions. And I don't want you thinking like, they're like, oh, Amy from Night Watch asked the question via email, scratch her name off the list. If you see her application, she's dumb and doesn't understand anything. Like, don't think that. These people, it's literally their jobs to match up problems with people who are ready to solve them. But I wanted to show some of these things where to prepare for these types of opportunities, it's the long game, just like the larger grants can be, because I want to show you some of the things that they're asking for. So whichever type of like RFP, one of these things that they're asking for, they're going to have like the different, I'm sorry, I'm losing my words, attachments on here. It has an amendments. So it looks like this was the original solicitation. So this was the original like ad, so to speak. And so I'm downloading it. So let me open it up. And again, it's gonna be a lot of words, but don't stress, okay? So like this one right here, it says that they're willing to pay $15,000 to $100,000 for this particular thing. Some of this stuff is gonna be at the beginning of all of them because it's, from the same agency, but take your time and read through these. And even if you're like, I'm not a good fit for this, just read through it anyway, so you get more comfortable with just the different pieces. So they're typically going to have the scope. All right, they're going to tell you exactly what they want. So this isn't really like a grant where, in my experience, where the grant wants you to decide the solution and all of the details. This is that they're telling you, like, this is exactly like what we want and who we want to do it. So I was looking at this one, and some of these qualifications we do meet at Night Watch. So notice down here, they're asking for exactly what they're looking for. They want 3 cohorts, 120 hours, you know, and I don't see necessarily anything that says that we have to be in, I think this was Charles County. You know, if we were willing to drive over there a couple times a year, it might be worth it, you know? So see how much detail they give. Hosting 2 virtual co-parenting events, plan and coordinate with the social services of Charles County for a Father's Day event. So, I mean, they are so specific about what they want.
Amy?
Yes.
Marquita asked, is there another way to join a partnership with the Judy Centers? Because you have to be within 5 miles of their school, and there's no Judy Centers in her area. So do you
Okay.
know of a different way to obtain partnership?
Where is she? Does she mind sharing her location?
Marquita, if you want to unmute.
Belvedere Avenue and
Like what town? I'm sorry.
21239 Belvedere Avenue.
No, where's
It's like
the
Rock Raven, Baltimore
Rock
County,
Raven?
or the city. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. And you said there's no Judy Centers at any of the elementary schools?
No, they
Oh.
tried to get one, but for whatever reason, the school decided to put the YMCA up there.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's none in that area.
So
in my area.
what my suggestion would be is to be part of a committee that gets one going. So if you have like your local school, your like whatever elementary school you're near, my suggestion would be is to just kind of like try to you be the person that gets that ball rolling, if that makes sense. Whether you say, hey, I'll host the meetings, like just kind of get the community behind it with starting with that elementary school. Maybe reach out to a Judy Center, maybe not yours, and just kind of tell them what's going on and say, hey, you know, there was this one school that was going to have it. It didn't have it. Like, how could I be part of the solution? That maybe could be an option. And I don't necessarily know if I am within 5 miles of a Judy Center. Like, I don't even think I'm within 5. You said 5 miles?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Okay. Yeah, like I don't even think I'm 5 miles from a school. Like, so I don't like check on that because I don't like I'm not 5 miles near any school. So
yeah, I had talked to one of the Judy Centers that it's probably like 10 miles away from my home. And as I was explaining to her that I wanted to, you know, join partnerships, she basically said that the student zone school will have to be within 5 miles. And because I'm so far from her and possibly none of the kids will come all the way up there to me.
okay.
That I would have to find one closer. So I was telling her about the situation, that the school was trying to get a Judy Center, but it didn't turn out. So I haven't reached back out to that particular center to see what to do. But
Okay. And another option. So the partnership that I have with them right now, like what we're working on, is that we're just going to be part of some community events. I may host a session with the whole group, like the steering committee. That's where I was today. So I don't necessarily like we have like brochures in our center for the Judy Centers in the area, but like we're not stuck to one school. So I guess the one that you did talk to, would they let you just kind of partner up? Like if they're having community baby showers, like can you donate stuff? Can you set up a table? Like that kind of partnership maybe?
I could ask.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably, yeah.
I can't imagine them saying no to free help, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, of course, of course. Okay, all right, sorry, let me get back to where I was. All right, So everyone's had time to look at this, this sheet. Yeah, I like these because it's super detailed. And then it got down into, I was looking at what you needed. Because it wanted like some letters of support and stuff like that. But this stuff about insurance, like some of these are pretty standard. Like they're going to make sure that like you're a business in good standing, that like you have the proper insurance and all of that. Because remember, they're passing this off to you. So they just want to make sure that you're able to do it like fully, that you're capable of doing it. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find, because I know I saw it on here. It was like the bidder qualifications. Okay, I think on here. All right. You need to have the professional resume with professional letters confirming experience on letterhead that includes name, contract, stuff like that. So this is probably not something I can cold call anybody. However, I've got some mental health professionals that we've been working with that maybe I could give them a call and see if they could give me a reference letter. I only need two. But this is where kind of like some of the things to prepare you for a grant and some of the stuff to prepare you for a bidding opportunity kind of go hand in hand. Hello, I'm sorry. Lisa, I think you have to put me back as the host whenever you can. Did everybody get cut off or was it just me?
Yes.
Everyone, I know I did.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine's
Yeah.
been cut
Oh,
off.
everybody did? Okay. All right.
I did.
Okay. Yeah, I can still go on. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so they had some amendments on here. So just making sure you're downloading all that. They'll also give you like spreadsheets that you might have to fill out. Again, don't get overwhelmed by the different formatting. Don't get overwhelmed by new forms. This is why I like to take my time with these things. I don't like to wait till the week before. I like to take a look at them like a month ahead of time. Last week, I was talking about using like Google Calendar and how I like to schedule it like a month before it's due, a week before it's due, just so I'm not stressing out, because you don't want to just like turn in some awesome thing, but like forget pieces and then they just disregard your whole application because you forgot, I don't know, your what are your professional references or something like that. And then again, it's going to go down to who has the best bid. So make sure I got all that. Yep. All right. But then again, ask questions if you're uncertain, especially if you know, like, I'm probably not going to bid for it, but I'm just nosy and I want to see what's going on. Like, show up for the pre-conference and see what they say. All right, so the next part, and this is where I want you to make sure that you are linked in with MCE with Lisa, because this is something that she, like, I know I've gotten an email recently. I know that they're doing free trainings on this stuff. So for the contracts, so not only do we want to make it cost efficient, right? We want to give them the most bang for their buck. But we also want to strengthen it with some other things that you can be doing. And this stuff does not cost money unless you pay somebody to do it for you. So I don't want anybody ever thinking that you have to pay to get these certifications. You don't. It just takes, it's not something you're going to be able to do overnight. It may take a few weeks for you to get it done, but it'll be worth it. So the women-owned and the minority-owned business certification with the state of Maryland. Just because you are a woman who owns a business or a minority who owns a business in Maryland, and even though your name is on the business, that does not mean that you have that certification. I don't know much more other than it doesn't cost you anything. I know that there's a lot of documentation you need, but MCE can help with that. Yeah, but you want to get.
Yeah, we do have some free classes coming up. The minority owned business certification. We have two-part series coming up in November, so be sure to check that out on our website. And then we offer the WOSB and HubZone certification workshops as well, different times throughout the year. So just, keep a lookout for those.
And they do record them. So just sign up for them, and then you can get it and review it later.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, so these things right here, like and they'll probably have it somewhere in the fine print that like they need to have a certain amount of people, or they want to prioritize applications that have these certifications on them. Another kind of neat thing, and I'll just throw this in there and then I'll move on with it. But with these certifications, the process, I don't know about the Hub Zone, but I know the minority and the women owned. You could also become certified with the Department of Transportation to like be a vendor at the airport. Now you might be thinking, Amy, why are you telling me that about this? I'm a childcare owner. Because there are people that have vending machines in that airport for all kinds of stuff, including baby stuff. I mean, you could have storybooks, crayons, baby wipes, like whatever, like toys, or just snacks, and you just want to make that like for like extra income for your business. But that also is tied in with that certification. It's just like another little box that they check. But anyway, but yeah, Lisa and MCE, you want to hop on those. Okay. Some of this stuff is going to be repeat from last week about networking and building relationships. And it's really just about picking that one group of people that you really want to help. I'm sure you'd be like, oh, well, I'm really interested in helping the elderly, but I also, obviously I want to work with kids, but like, I want to work with people like getting out of prison who are also parents. I don't want to maybe try to help. Like, there's a million people that can be helped, and there's a million things that you could be doing. But as you, the focus, even though your business is growing, your focus on the group of people that you want to work with should be coming very, very small. So like, I'm at the point now where I'm working with young families, single moms who are trying to, get to the next place, or going back to school, or opening businesses, and they need evening overnight care as part of their support system. Like that, though, that's the only people that I'm really worried about right now. And recruiting kids to get them into childcare, so that we can be part of the solution when it comes to workforce shortage, when it comes to childcare, that we can help kids get into a career without having student debt and all of that. So that's who I focus on. So when you get your workbook and you're able to print it out and think about it, I want you to be thinking about, who do you want to help? Do you want to help vets that are getting out of the military? They have a family. This could turn into something where, you are able to help them with workforce development. And just focus on that, and be able to focus in on programs for vets. That's a whole other government contract. So I just looked at this was just for Maryland. And I only typed in fathers, right? So just go into that and just kind of search around some things. So when I put in workforce development, I put in youth, I put in education, put in childcare, because one day it might pop up and say, Baltimore City wants to have an evening overnight daycare center for their employees. And then I can say, hey, Night Watch wants to come to Baltimore. Like, you never know. So it's, unfortunately, this doesn't like, this website doesn't have like a, what am I trying to say? Like an email list. Like, they're not going to email you and say, hey, we've got these things going on, but put it on your calendar to check once a month. You never know. And like these, like this one that I just showed you, it's due later in the month. I would say that the windows are not as big as like a grant program in my experience. So as in like, you see it might be due within 60 days. So this is why it's like the things that you can be doing now that don't cost you anything, like getting your different certifications, doing these network connections, so that when it comes time that you can pull something together in 60 days and you're not stressing out, and you're not missing out on, possible money that you could be using for your business and to help the families that you serve. Attend the events when you can, if they have anything. I talked last week about tapping into your like alma mater, or just the local university entrepreneur centers in your area. If you live on the Eastern Shore, UMES and SU both have excellent entrepreneur centers. MCE has done some in-person events there too. I feel like they have one, Cambridge, Easton, something like they have one a little further out, right, Lisa? We can't hear you.
They do. They have a one in Easton.
Okay.
It's ESAC. I think it's between Cambridge and Easton. It used to be in Cambridge. Now I think it's in Easton.
Okay. All right.
And
Thanks.
that's an entrepreneurship center as well.
Yep. And they also offer government contracting free classes too. So just like they had the minority business, they have the government contract. I'm letting you see it through the lens of childcare and early childhood and family services, but they will be able to really like help you a lot more with the technical stuff. And then childcare businesses and associations, just me linking up with the Judy Center today on their steering committee. It didn't cost me anything. Last week I mentioned that our Salisbury Chamber of Commerce has a Chamber of Commerce, it's called the SAC, Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce Education Network. They met yesterday morning on Tuesday morning. It doesn't cost me anything to be part of it. Because I'm an educator, because I'm a business owner, I was welcome. So tapping into those types of, if you're like, I don't have the money to join any of these affiliations, I get it. I know when you're paycheck to paycheck, I get it. So there are definitely some free things. So tapping into your university, tapping into these business centers. And then if there's any type of associations or like little organizations in your area. I also shared last week that I am on a couple of city committees. And these are things that they just had an opening. I turned in a resume, a letter of interest, and then I got an email saying that I was going to be appointed at the next city council meeting. It was that simple. I'm on the commission for the city zoo, which is great because I get to see how the zoos run, and it's a great service for our area. It's a free zoo on the Eastern Shore. I'm also on the Youth Development Advisory Committee. And essentially what we do is we make recommendations to the city about the kids and youth of our area. All things that didn't cost me any money, but I'm in there and I'm meeting people and I'm meeting with people at the district. I'm meeting people at the city level, and I'm kind of learning all of this stuff that I didn't learn in teacher school. I didn't learn in any of my child development classes. I'm learning how the city works. And once you can learn how, they delegate things out, like it just gives me a clearer picture on how these things are run. So I feel a little more confident when I do go to apply for these things, because I'm like, okay, I already know what they're expecting. I already know how things are run, and it just gives me a little more confidence. But it's another thing that did not cost me any money. So I keep saying it doesn't cost any money because I don't want you not having the overflow or the extra in your bank account to pause you from making moves in your business. There's so many things you can be doing for free. Okay, staying compliant with contract terms. This is going to be just as similar, if not even more stringent than a grant. Because with the grant, yes, you have a plan. Yes, this is our goals and objectives. This is what we're going to do. And yes, they want a progress report and things like that. But this, when you have a government contract, it's like you're essentially working for them. And you saw how detailed that fatherhood request was. I mean, they want certain amount per quarter. They want these virtual meetings. They want you to coordinate with this certain agency. Like, they were very specific. So making sure that you do all of those things, that you are maintaining everything that you need. If they're saying you need to have a valid driver's license, if they say that you need to have insurance, making sure you have all those things, because they're going to ask, and I'd hate for you to miss out on it because you let one of these things lapse. Being able to track and submit reports on time. This is vital, especially if it's a reimbursed grant. So I'll give you an example, or not a reimbursed grant, if you're getting anything reimbursed from the state. So the big grant I talked about last week that we got, it is a reimbursed grant from the state. So I turned in our stuff like the beginning of September and there's a check on the way. So it's in the little GAD thing where we can check our checks. So it's on the way, but it took almost a month. And that actually turnaround time was pretty impressive because it's taken sometimes up to 90 days for me to get money, like where I've had to like email and say, hey, did y'all forget about me? And I don't like to do that because I know they're busy, but sometimes they were like, oh yeah, we did, sorry. And then they'll send me this stuff. But you want to make sure that you're not stressing on the 15th of the month or the 30th when they're like, hey, you need to turn this stuff in. just making sure that like you're handling it every day, or you have a team in place that can help you at making sure you're getting these things on time, because you don't want them waiting on you for your money. And it's going to just really ensure that you have, this financial accountability, like making sure that like you're turning the stuff in, making sure you have the proper receipts so you can get reimbursed. And if they're late, check the fine print. I know that there's some where if I believe this is what I heard from a colleague. She had a contract with the city. If they're late, or the county, if they're late with a payment to you, they have to pay interest. So really, so it's not just a financial accountability for yourself, but also like on them. If they say it's got to be to you in 30 days and it's now, 42, well, run me the rest of my money. So, okay. And at this part, I will answer some questions, but I want to drop this in the chat. I am going to be having some other free webinars. So these are some of the topics that are here. I'm going to drop this in the chat. And if there are any other topics that you are, what's the word? Needing. So I'm trying to say, sorry, I'm trying to copy, paste, and talk at the same time. If there's any other topics, when you take a look at this, or you can let Lisa know, like, what are some other topics you guys would like with these? And I'd be happy to accommodate.
Yeah, we'll be glad to help too. Organize it for you.
Yep. So if you want to put any questions in the chat, or you want to take yourself off on mute, I've got some time for questions. Ashley had a question about, do you have to register with the SBA? Lisa, do you understand that question? I'm not, maybe Ashley.
You mean, do you have to register your business?
Yes.
No, you don't really have to register with the SBA. They're here as a resource, they provide you with, you can go to sba.gov and just kind of navigate through their website and see what all they have to offer. They offer workshops, which we offer through them as well. They have a program, it's called Ascent Online, which is, it kind of walks you through different phases of like the business plan, different things that can be helpful to your business, marketing assistance. So, that's something you can check out on there and complete. There's like little sections, you complete each section.
Okay, I was just asking because I'm a little late. I came in on a little late because I know with the regular, government contract, I just wanted to know if it was the same process, because their process is you have to go through the SBA and that whole thing. I didn't know if this for the childcare grant you had to go through that process as well.
For government contracting, yes, you're going to be, if it's a federal grant, and then it's going to be through the Small Business Administration. So you're going to need to fill out the paperwork, and that does get processed through them. Like for the WOSB that Amy mentioned, the Women-Owned Small Business Contracting, the MBE, those are things that do get processed through the Small Business Administration. So when you're filling out the application, that's who it gets sent to somebody there that's going to approve it.
All right, thank you.
So I would recommend too getting onto some of our some of these are pre-recorded on our YouTube channel, Maryland Capital Enterprises YouTube channel, and then we'll have them. We have all different contracting workshops throughout the year. So just stay tuned to our website and get onto some of those, and you can ask a lot of questions there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Valerie, I didn't talk too much about grants tonight. That was last week's. But a grant that we got was a therapeutic childcare center grant through the state from MSDE. And then Kimberly had mentioned maybe having a training from CPAs about accounting. And I know that like you've had a bunch of trainings with I know you were doing it with the bank with Lydia. I know Lydia's moved away. Did you hear me, Lisa?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
somebody had a question about having a CPA to discuss accounting. And I know that I was just saying, I know we had done a series with Lydia at the
Oh.
bank.
Yes. Well, I can try to find somebody to teach a workshop. We do have, she's not a CPA, but she's owns Kingdom Vision Consulting, and she's doing basics of finances for any business. And that is coming up in November as well. Let me get you the date, and I'll put the link in the chat. But it's a 2-part series, and it's a really good, a lot of great information. So I would recommend getting on that. Let me put that in the chat.
Valerie, were you on with us last week?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, no problem. Lisa, I know that you put some of the stuff on your YouTube channel. Is last week's training going to be? Okay.
Yep,
So,
it should be on there by now. If not, it will be soon. But
Okay.
either way, we can send you the recording. Because
okay.
we have your email, Valerie.
Okay, you said you do, or you're asking me?
I do. I have
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Mhm.
I have a question. You said that you knew someone who knew of CP that was accepting people, a CPA? Because I'm in total need of a CPA.
I'm not sure if I'll have to check with her, but I believe so. And let me see. I don't know who's asking me right now. Who's asking me? Because I don't see it lit up. That's weird. I think we have so many pages of people tonight.
I love it.
I can I'll put her information in the chat, and then you can just contact her and see if they're accepting people.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm going to send you somebody. This is who I've been using. I use her for my taxes. See if I got her
That's what
email.
I need. A certified, somebody who's really good in taxes. I'm tired of using people that's basic and that it's not getting.
No, she's out of Florida. I've been using her for 2 years. Her name is Nakia. Of course I can't find her email right now. Hold on. But anyway, she owns a daycare. Like, she's a daycare.
Wow.
Specifically daycare. Sorry, I'm trying to type and do it all at the same time. I'm sorry. Nakia, of course, no, I can't find it. Nakia, come on. Nakia.
Okay, Ken, I'll send it to you.
Yep.
Well, hopefully Nakia is okay with all the stuff going on in Florida.
Oh, I
The
know.
hurricanes.
Right? I know. I've seen her posting from time to time. I will find it and I'll give it to Lisa, and she can send it to all of you if you're interested. I can just do that because I don't want to waste people's time by me trying to find this lady on Facebook. But yeah, she's great. And like I said, she really just works with daycares. So there's that.
I put Angela's in there. She's local in Salisbury, Angela Asadi. And I put her website that has her contact information. I'm sure she's probably familiar with daycares because she's been doing it a long time and deals with a lot of local people here. So either I would check both of them out, and see what kind of prices they have. Gotta shop around.
Yep. And I see some Alisa, people are asking about finding last week's training. So I think the people that were there last week got theirs, but the people that signed up for this week, if they could also maybe be sent it, is that okay? Or
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yep. We can send it out to everybody that just signed up this week. And I know Ken and Valerie, you two said you need it, so we'll send it out.
And Lisa will also be sending out the workbook that went along with tonight's training.
Yeah, definitely.
And did we find out a CPA yet or no?
Yes, I put it in there. Angela Asadi.
Yep, I
And
have.
put her website.
Awesome.
there any other questions?
Thank you so much, Amy. This is wonderful information as always. And we'll be definitely get out the workbook, get out the recording. If I put my contact information in the chat earlier, I don't know if you guys got that. If you need any MCE services, please reach out to us. If you're not in our service area, then we'll connect you with the Women's Business Center in your service area. So, we'll definitely get you the help you need. I know Amy offered a lot of free resources, but I just wanted to mention too, and you might have mentioned this and I didn't hear it. Chambers of Commerce, that's another free resource that can connect you in a lot of ways. Becoming a member, if you can afford to do that, so that when you have openings at your center, they'll send it out for you to all their mailing lists, which are usually huge. So that goes out to a lot of people. That's just one of the benefits that I can think of off the top of my head. Also, the Small Business Development Center in your area can also be of help with like business consulting, just like we do. It's a free service, just like all of our services are free. I didn't mention too, we also are a lender, so we offer small business loans if you're in our service area. So if we can be of assistance, please reach out to me.
Okay. And I found the lady, Nakia. I just posted her Facebook link if you want to click on it before Lisa closes out. This is the lady that I use, the one out of Florida, and this is the daycare. And I'm looking at her page. I know she has a CPAs that work with her. So yeah, I love her. I've been using her for a couple years, and yeah, I don't know if she's the cheapest, but I know she knows her stuff. Sometimes that's where you need to spend the money.
Oh yeah, it's worth it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll let y'all go. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. See you again.